The American people, I think, at this point, are as familiar on this issue as any with respect to the wide open borders in the United States and the epic humanitarian disaster that has ensued as a result, and the greatest national security threat to the American people is posed by these open borders. So the social cost, I think, has been well in front of the American people consistently. But I don't think we've talked enough about the financial burden to taxpayers and the fiscal impact. FAIR has done a great job. I've seen studies that suggest the cost is upward of $400 billion. Their cost estimate is at $150 billion. The lion's share of that cost is borne by state and local governments. And friends, state and local governments can't borrow or print money like the federal government. And so they're having to balance their budgets by either absorbing this cost through raising taxes, or they're having to cut services to their citizens. The $150 billion, when you look at the 22 million people that are estimated to be in this country illegally, comes out to about $9,000 tax dollars per illegal immigrant. So I want you to listen. I want everybody to listen to this stat. $9,000 roughly per illegal immigrant that taxpayers are fronting. That's more than we spend per Medicaid beneficiary. That's more than we spend on the most vulnerable American citizen for their health care. That's more than we spend for our heroes, our veterans, in the way of military retirement benefits. So I think for everyone, this should be unacceptable. I believe it is quite avoidable, but this is the real and significant, and at the state and local levels, especially unsustainable cost of the current border crisis. Texas, in my home state alone, we've spent over $13 billion, which is about $4,500 per illegal immigrant in Texas. Just to give you an example or sample list of services we're providing for people who are here illegally, it's about $3 billion extra dollars for Head Start. At the state level, it's $70 billion across the United States for public education. And states have a very difficult time prioritizing and investing in public education because of the cost of health care and now the cost of illegal immigration. You look at criminal justice, it's about $12 billion extra in criminal justice cost across the United States. Tens of billions of dollars in uncompensated care at hospitals. We talk all the time as a committee about how health care costs are driving our deficits in national debt. Medicare alone is $1 trillion, and that will double over the next 10 years. And we've got tremendous cost, and that's not to even consider the crowding out of our citizens who are in need for these spaces in hospitals, seats for our students in their schools. So it's real, and we've quantified it, and I'm grateful for the work of FAIR. I think I would say at a time when we have record deficits, the highest level of indebtedness in our nation's history, surpassing a time of war when we're in relative peace and prosperity, at a time when our fellow Americans are spending now about $1,300 more a month because of the inflation tax, where we're looking at an economy teetering on recession. We've seen inflation uptick the last month. We saw the first quarter GDP not even get half of its expectation. I'm concerned about it. But then you're going to add $150 billion in unnecessary cost because of illegal immigration. Now, let me say something, and I'm done, about CBO. CBO talks about the benefits of immigration. And let me be clear, we need legal immigration. legal immigration is a hallmark of the American experiment. The new blood hungry for opportunity and freedom and the American dream. There's nothing more American than that. There's nothing more un-American than lawlessness and chaos and the lack of respect for rule of law. That's all I'm trying to contrast here. But here's what CBO does, and it ticks me off, actually. They take into consideration some of the benefits of illegal immigration in terms of jobs filled and revenue as a result, and some taxes paid, by the way. That $150 billion is the net after we back out about $30 billion in taxes. What I would like to submit to my colleagues is that CBO, in order to do their job to provide the full picture and accurate information for us as lawmakers to make the decisions and value judgments, is to have the full net cost, and that $150 billion is in no CBO analysis whatsoever. But the benefits are. Seems a little odd to me, seems biased to me, and I'm going to make sure, as long as I'm chairman, that full picture is represented so my Democrat colleagues and my Republican colleagues and us as a committee can just deal with the facts and make decisions and accordingly.